Welcome into a new week, May 3rd, our first conversation since we rolled another calendar page. Well, not technically, because Saturday there is a really great listener question that if you have not heard that episode, it's 30 minutes long. I don't know that I'll ever do another Fun Astrology podcast at 30 minutes, but there it is on this past Saturday, May 1st. And the question was about midlife crisis aspects. And I grabbed that and ran with it because there is something very important, especially those of you with kids who are living this conscious reality, that you can train your kids in how this works. So I laid out all of the major, slower-moving, theme-building aspects throughout our life from 21 to 88 and how they align and fall in the chart. So that's why it's 30 minutes and still is only just a tertiary covering of it. But how you learn astrology and how you do astrology is just the same way you eat that elephant. Yep. Pass the salt, please. One bite at a time. Now, we have a bit of a challenging little week ahead of us with some aspects that we need to put our radars on. So let's get busy with today's, and we'll just stay here for today. Typically, I like to do an overview, but there are so many today that we just need to cover these. First of all, between Eastern Time's always today, 5:30 a.m., between 5:30 and 6:50, three aspects hit. Mercury squares Jupiter, the Sun squares Saturn, and Uranus, in a more minor aspect, semi-sextile to Chiron. And you know, when we're in here talking together and you hear Chiron or you hear the nodes, then your little karmic ears should perk up, because that's generally something around an event that might show up, a synchronicity that might show up in your life for you to be able to work on something soul-based. They all are, but I'm just saying when those pop up, that's the radar. And when Uranus comes around, then you know that it's probably something that you couldn't even imagine. So that's kind of that one. That's the latest one. But let's go back to the beginning. Mercury squaring Jupiter. There's one more log to throw on this campfire because Mercury is squaring Jupiter just as it is leaving Taurus, because Mercury moves into Gemini tonight at 10:45. So we have Mercury squaring Jupiter this morning at 5:32, and then moving into Gemini at 10:45. Now, this is a fast-moving aspect, so it's basically in effect today. It was in effect yesterday, and maybe a little bit of residual tomorrow, but it will move out fairly fast. What does Mercury squaring Jupiter look like? Well, if we break down the components and we talk about some synthesis, Mercury is about communication and Jupiter is about expansion. But that square makes it a little scratchy as these two are wanting to work together. So today is a really good day not to be overly exuberant about yourself, especially. If you're going to pat yourself on the back this week, wait until about Thursday, because I just don't think the energies will support that. And the other reason why is the other aspect, because at 6 o'clock this morning, the Sun squares Saturn. 2 steps forward, 4 steps back. 3 steps forward, 1 step back. That's the restriction on you. You are the Sun. The Sun reflects you in the world. Saturn, restriction. Mercury, Jupiter, square, communication. Just keep it soft and gentle for pretty much the balance of this week. If you're wanting to put yourself out there, use the first couple of days of this week to do the structural work instead. Were you planning on launching something the beginning of this week? Tap the brakes. This won't be with us very long, but it is worth noting. These are powerful aspects, and that's where I'm saying is this week we have some things coming up that are worth maybe just being a little more cautious, watching what we say, being careful of our interactions, and we're building toward a moon wobble. The Sun will conjunct the North Node on May 31st. So we back up 21 days to begin the moon wobble, So that puts us at next Tuesday. We'll talk about that more next week, but just know that that is out there as well. So even in the shadow of that, things could be misunderstood, misappropriated, miscommunicated. That's the energy that we have going on today. All right? And then at 10:45 this evening, Mercury goes home to Gemini. And we will talk about that more tomorrow. Have a great day. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you again in the morning. Bye-bye.